Hello, hello, hello. It's Friday night live. It's Good Friday. This week has been wild. If you're catching the replay, there will be timestamps down below. We have so much to cover. So much has happened this week. There is YouTube drama popping off. Nike has gone to DEF CON WTF in the lawsuit versus Satan Shoes. The Real Housewives are just not going to get out of the news cycle. And we thought that Erica Jane was going to be the one with the court storyline. And then Jen Shah from Real Housewives of Salt Lake City goes ahead and just gets herself arrested and indicted in a very large federal money laundering and wire fraud scheme. It's like my whole life has accumulated to this moment because I was a criminal prosecutor. I've worked in the AUSA's office in law school. I've worked for judges behind the scenes. I've done civil, but I have done more housewife watching than just about anything else in my life. And it is all coalescing, the criminal law and the pop culture of it all. I was on the phone today for the Jen Shah arraignment. I'm going to give you my takeaways from that arraignment and the interesting information there. We're going to talk about Nike quickly and what's going on with that temporary restraining order. We are going to just really quickly touch on Girardi's because more happened after I recorded the podcast. And that's why live videos are so helpful, because when I do the podcast, I record it in advance. It can get edited and get out. And inevitably, by the time it goes live, more shit has happened. What? So let me know where you are watching from this Good Friday. And I'm drinking watermelon booch just straight up tonight because I have done so many interviews that my throat is tired. And I'm afraid that if I had any alcohol in this at all, I would be falling over by the end of this because I have been talking for hours and hours and hours and hours at this point today and yesterday. So tell me where you're watching from. Tell me what you're drinking, and let's just get into it. Hey there. If we haven't met yet, I'm Emily D. Baker, the badass lawyer and everyone's favorite legal commentator. I'm the host of The Emily Show, and I break down the legal shit behind the news and pop culture stories we all want to talk about. I have been a licensed attorney for over 15 years, but this is not legal advice. I should warn you, I'm a big fan of the cursey words. This channel is where the law nerds unite to talk about facts, not fuckery. What's up, everybody? I see y'all coming in from all over the world. It's so good to see you. All the time zones. Oh, rosé sounds delicious. I saw somebody drinking rosé. I need rosé. Thank you so much, Kate. I know we're at 93.2. We are getting closer and closer to the purple hair. Hello, Candace, my love. It is good to see you. I see that you're watching from Facebook, which is okay because the YouTube chat would hit you up for all of the deep knowledge since you have known me literally my entire life. It's so good to see you, friend. Of course you are drinking craft beer. Good to see you. I've been meaning to catch up on our group text and I haven't because the housewives, and then I was personally attacked by James Charles's apology video, which if you all want to hear my thoughts on, we will get into it after we do these updates because FFS with that. Boston Booch, all the Booch. I love seeing all my Booch drinkers. It's like we can talk about it freely. You guys, it's so good to see you coming in. It's so good to see everybody. Oh, Emma. Okay, look. I am going to personally apologize to you and everyone in Lehi, Utah for butchering Lehi, Utah's good name and pronouncing it wrong for at least half of my last stream about this. But I am correct now. I have come correct. And there was more discussion of Lehi, Utah. Y'all famous now because Stuart Smith in the Real Housewives drama is from Lehi, Utah, and one of the houses listed in the forfeiture or the asset attachment in the federal indictment is in Lehigh, Utah. So, I've actually had Shelly peanut butter whiskey. That shit's delicious. Just delicious, delicious, delicious. So it's very, very good to see everybody. I read this as Keemstar, which just read wrong in my brain. It's been a busy day. Greetings, Tampa. Hello. I didn't realize Sister Wives was out of Lehigh as well. See, I should have known. I should have known. So it is Good Friday. I know that there was another shooting in Orange County, California. I know that stuff went down in Washington, D.C. today. We are just getting into kind of tea today. I have not even processed everything else that's going on. So it feels weird to not acknowledge it. I don't know how much to acknowledge it, but that's what it is. Hello, Heather McDonald, BC. Nice dry red wine. Sounds delicious. So yeah, I haven't processed. I have been so into Housewife stuff today. I haven't seen everything coming out of DC. I hope that everyone is safe and well. I have not even seen everything coming out of the shooting in Orange County, but it is on my brain. So we're just going to keep moving. It's not that I just haven't processed. We will talk about it. I will probably talk about it on the other social medias. If you don't follow me there, I'm at the Emily D. Baker on the Twitters and the Instagrams, sometimes on the TikToks. Don't tell my children. It's embarrassing to be on the TikToks. So that's what it is. For all of the members on the channel, we did... Last night, I did a live react to James Charles's apology video so the members can let you know kind of my initial thoughts. Harry West, hello from New Zealand. Thank you for the love on the videos. How come Jen's husband didn't know about it? Or if he did, how come he's getting off without anything? We will talk about that for sure when I get to Jen Shah, because I have thoughts about Coach Shah for sure. We're going to get into a few other things first because they're faster. So here's my thoughts. We're going to do Nike and Girardi's real quick and touch on those. I'm going to do more of a deep dive into Nike probably for the podcast next week, though there might have to be two because I need to talk about Shah more because Shah amazing. But I also wanted to update the things that have happened on Girardi since the podcast came out this week because it's like, oh my goodness. And I'm just going to acknowledge there are 15 amount of people watching, 1,515. Oh, it just jumped. But it was so I looked up in the corner and I was like, 15. If you guys are new to the channel, go ahead and subscribe. This is Friday Night Live. We grab a drink or we grab some hydration. We have a chat. We have a worldwide audience. So some are just grabbing coffee for the morning on Saturday and we talk about the things. As I say that, hello, Brigitte. Just had an extra strong iced coffee, was having caffeine withdrawal headaches. Fair enough. It's Sunday here in New Zealand. Hello, New Zealand. Hello, Snohomish. Body Armor Juice. I've never even heard of that, but fantastic. It's lime Diet Coke time. Hello from the UK. That kind of sounds delicious. I like lemon Coke so much. So it's great. Okay. It was Jake's. Yes, it was. Yes, there's a lot. If you guys want to hear my thoughts on James Charles, I will ask as we get to questions. I am just going to pull up the Nike stuff. We're going to talk about the shit that I think is funny with regard to the Nike indictment. So look, I am not going to disparage the fact that people feel some kind of a way over the Satan shoes. If you don't have any idea what I'm talking about, let me just show you real quick. Look, I am making fun of this whole lawsuit because it's funny. I know people feel some kind of way. Look, Nike didn't make the Satan shoes. An art collective made the Satan shoes. Hello, Alyssa. Good to see you, lady. Nike didn't make the Satan shoes. Okay? They didn't do it. An art collective made it. Art pushes people's buttons and boundaries. That is part of the thing. That was part of the goal. That I get that people are mad, but Also, this is going to be a very interesting intellectual property lawsuit, and the Satanness of it all is really not the thing here. It's the brand reputation of the situation that is so interesting to me. Here's why. The marketing materials used in this case, now this is just a Google page, the marketing materials used in this, and the image that we saw the most was the image of Lil Nas X. This is the one that was kind of the most prevalent image of this. And a lot of the images, you didn't even see this mischief logo down here. This was added by this news outlet. Who is this? BBC News, to show that's the source of the image. But the image doesn't always have this here. So you just see the Nike swoosh, Lil Nas X, the contacts and the shoe with the numbers and the red sole and what have you. So you don't always get to see whether or not this is a non-Nike product, because the marketing images were very much, stuff like this without this on there. It was the shoes, it was Lil Nas X. It didn't say mischief in most of these. In very few images, it showed the back of the shoe, and the back of this shoe says mischief right here in text. This was not the majority. And then they've got paint in the sole of the shoes with one drop of literal human blood. It says it in the lawsuit, you guys. It says literal human blood, which kind of made me laugh, because the lawyers wanted to point out that it was literal human blood, not figurative human blood, but literal human blood. So what has happened since I talked about this on Tuesday? And if you aren't all the way caught up on the Nike case, I broke down the lawsuit and gave my thoughts on Tuesday. There were some things I thought they could do better, but I also thought that the arguments would be that Nike is going to say the average consumer is confused, and Mischief is going to say our consumers are not going to be confused. Purchases of sneakers in the custom market aren't going to be confused. And Nike's going to be like, but these are sneakers and the general market's confused. And I juxtapose that to the arguments in the Taylor Swift case with regard to the album Evermore and the theme park Evermore. Taylor Swift's attorneys going, bro, no one's confusing Taylor Swift with your theme park right now. It's just not happening. Okay, I need to scoot. We need to scoot up. I need to scoot up. All right. Let's talk about what happened since then. Since Tuesday, Nike filed a request for a temporary restraining order. Stop it. Stop it, Mischief. Stop it. You can't distribute the shoes. Stop it. Stop it. Stop it right now. Holy shit. Stop it. And the court said, sure, we'll stop it. So the temporary restraining order was granted against Mischief. And I will tell you in a few minutes what it says and what Mischief is not allowed to do. So Nike effectively got the court to say stop. The grounds for that is the court believes Nike will reasonably win on the merits for the preliminary injunction. So temporary restraining order, then it goes to a preliminary injunction. The preliminary injunction will stop them from distributing these shoes, amongst other things, up until the end of this lawsuit, right? That is the same thing we're seeing in the Haley Page case, where she can't use her social medias, et cetera, et cetera. There was a temporary restraining order stopping her from doing this stuff, then a preliminary injunction until the end of the case, because the court has said you're likely to succeed on the merits. So let's pull up Mischief's letter first, then Nike's response, and then the court's order with regard to stop right there. Thank you very much. It's going to be that kind of a night. I have talked so much and my brain is tired and it's going to burst out into song. So no, we have not managed Mischief at this point, but Mischief has said that they've shipped all the shoes. So we'll see if they have shipped all the shoes in the 3 seconds since the shoes were sold, then they have Mischief managed, but then the court's going to recall them and that's going to be a huge fucking issue. Let's get into this. I'm going to try to not I know a lot of you are in headphones. I'm going to try to not do this at all. The Reckoning, thank you. I feel like, look, for my very faithful friends, most of them don't have their faith rattled by somebody else's shoe. I'm just saying. And I don't besmirch anybody for being like, look, I want nothing to do with the devil shoes. I think that shit's is satanic and weird and I want nothing to do with it. That's fine. But, as I've clicked off of the thing, but nobody's going to make you wear the Satan. Damn it. Nobody's going to make you wear the Satan shoes. And I also think that art does tend to push the boundaries. I understand that Christians particularly feel very poked at, and feel like when they get poked at, and then respond, they get made fun of. Can we talk about the fact that this district in New York uses red ink for their filing stamps? I feel like the whole of it is fantastic. Okay, so this is the letter from Mischief's attorneys saying that there's no need for a temporary restraining order. Mischief is an art collective. They made a Jesus shoe. These are individual works of art. They are individually numbered. That nobody complained about the Jesus shoe. In fact, museums have arranged for displays of these works in their collections. Museums have had Jesus's shoes on display. You can walk on holy water or blood. Mischief respectfully requests that the court deny the TRO. Didn't happen. No imminent threat. Mischief has no intention of issuing additional Satan shoes. They've been planning to give away the last pair of Satan shoes on Friday, April 2nd. On Good Friday was their giveaway, but they suspended it because of this lawsuit. So, second, contrary to Nike's argument, Nike can't show a likelihood of success on the merits. The court disagreed. The shoes were purchased through the proprietary app. This is a lot of the stuff I said when I said Mischief's going to argue that they have very savvy consumers, and Nike's going to argue, but yeah, everybody else saw Lil Nas X holding the shoe and now wants us to die because they think that we have made this shoe. And, even I was watching H3H3, and I've been watching other conversation on the internet, and quite a lot of people who are internet savvy looked at this and were like, wait a second, Nike didn't do it? Like, those aren't Nike shoes? Like, this isn't just silly you didn't realize. This is the average and casual consumer scrolling through Twitter was like, no, but I for sure thought that Nike made those because this is the imagery on it. So I understand Nike's argument because I've seen so much actual confusion about it. All right. Mischief says that the consumers are very savvy. You had to buy the shoe through the app. You had to do all this stuff to get the shoe, and you know that they're made by Mischief. But Nike, part of Nike's argument is, yeah, but if somebody's walking down the street with that big, bold Nike swoosh and a pentagram, then people are going to be confused that Nike didn't make this. So that's what it is. They also point out that Nike got slammed for the Jesus shoe as well, that people were very mad regarding that. But then Nike didn't sue over the Jesus shoe, though this was from October 2019, and Nike could still sue over the Jesus shoe for sure. So they are arguing that this is the shoes are works of art that intend to criticize the ever-popular collab culture where brands like Nike collaborate with anyone willing to make a splash. They are intended to criticize social norms that discriminate, such as religious norms that marginalize certain groups of people. Lil Nas X, a gay Black artist who has publicly discussed how he spent his teenage years hating himself because of what Christianity taught him about homosexuality, and whose most recent video prominently features Satan, is thus the perfect collaborator for these shoes. So Mischief took the opportunity in this letter to the court to say, yeah, but this was our goal. Our goal is to poke at culture. Our goal is to make a statement. Nike can't prevail on the trademark claims for these reasons that we'll explain in greater detail literally tomorrow. There's no emergency. They also go on to say that all the shoes have shipped. Like the shit's out of the horse now. Nike responded the morning of the hearing by letter. Nike responded the morning of the hearing, and they were like, hey, we've got to talk. They say Nike will suffer irreparable harm absent relief. If Mischief, in fact, has shipped 665 shoes, the appropriate remedy is for the court to recall the shoes pending resolution. Y'all, if they have to recall these shoes, can you imagine anyone shipping them in? No one's going to ship them back. People are going to be like, from my cold, dead fingers, I'm going to sell these things for $10,000 on eBay. You're not getting the shoes back. Getting the shoes back would be a mess. But also, they just sold these shoes. I don't know how they could have shipped them out that fast, but maybe they did. Courts are particularly likely to order a recall where there is evidence that a defendant's infringement was intentional, including where the defendant continued infringing after receiving notice of its potential unlawful conduct. There's that notice provision. Like, you're on notice, so the behavior that you take after you're on notice becomes very telling. Once you've been made aware that you're going to be sued, once you've received a cease and desist, your behavior after that becomes very important to the court. And that's what Nike's pointing out here and saying that's what happened here. Mischief did not start taking orders for the Satan shoes until March 29th, the same day Nike filed its widely publicized complaint. Hey, Mischief, you knew we were suing you. And then Mischief riled the attorneys. Mischief did not deny knowledge of Nike's filing. And in fact, at the same time that Mischief was apparently hastily fulfilling orders, Mischief took the time, the shade of it all, to promote a t-shirt bearing the front page of Nike's complaint. Look at this, you guys. Look at this. The shirt's called Legal Fees, selling for $66.60. I don't know if they went through and actually sold this, but it is a red shirt with devil horns with the front page of the complaint. Now, there is an argument that the front page of the complaint is the copyrighted property of the lawyers who wrote it, but I fucking live for this shirt. I feel like we need merch with some of the lines from our favorite lawsuits. This is so funny to me, but Nike is saying there's no fucking way you didn't know we were suing you because you made fun of us online about it. So you knew that we were suing you. So you shouldn't have sold the shoes. That shit is funny. It's funny. It's funny. So I think that's hilarious. I'm sure Nike's attorneys were like, okay, that's petty, that's fair, but also you had noticed that we sued you because Mischief took the time to promote a t-shirt bearing the front page of the complaint. This is kind of my favorite. Like, this might be Mischief managed. I love it. I love this riling of the lawyers because you know what? At the end of the day, I will watch two companies throw shade at each other all day long because it's funny. It's just funny. And Nike's going to pay their lawyers. Mischief's going to pay their lawyers. At the end of the day, it's going to be a fight over future trademark rights that actually can have impacts. But we're not having individuals at the end of this that are deeply damaged. In the Girardi case, there are people whose lives have been absolutely upended. The same in the Jen Shah case. The same in the Toddy Westbrook KJ case. Like, there are individuals there that are super stressed. I don't know if anyone at Nike's actually losing sleep over this. They're like, well, whatever. We're in-house lawyers. We get to do something funny, and maybe we're gonna write a lawsuit and we're gonna defend our company. And this is annoying that these little artists are coming for our shoes and putting blood in them. And Mischief is going to be like, we've got all the press in the world. We famous now. You got 40-year-old lawyer moms in Tennessee talking about your shoes that they didn't know existed. So for Mischief, I feel like their advertising budget has just shifted into their lawsuit and it works for them. But the shirt, fucking funny. It's funny. It's riling the lawyers and it's funny. So Mischief concedes it has not shipped at least one pair of shoes, which it's been planning to give away via social media raffle, and represents that it suspended the plan pending the resolution of the application. But as of the writing of this letter, Mischief's website marketing the Satan shoes continues to promote the raffle. They forgot to take it down. They didn't take down the raffle. So Nike was annoyed. Giving Mischief's history of shipping infringing shoes faster than Nike can obtain the court's assistance, Nike's not required to accept Mischief's representation that it will not ship any more infringing shoes. It's like, yeah, boo, but you're fucking with us, so we're fucking back with you. Entry of a temporary restraining order is thus appropriate to prevent further irreparable harm to Nike. Nike established likelihood of success, and then like legal. But I love that they actually use the word sneakerheads. Nike lawyers, hello, welcome to the chat. We like you. We just wanted you to use better tweets. Like there's shadier tweets against your company. Can you please use the better tweets next time? Because I think I said sneakerheads on Tuesday like 1,700 times. I don't think they're actually watching. I just think it's funny. There were some coincidences with Tuesday, for sure. Mischief contends that Nike cannot show a likelihood of success because Nike allegedly cannot show confusion among sophisticated, quote, sneakerhead purchasers. As a threshold matter, Nike in fact submitted evidence that even sneakerheads were actually confused by Mischief's shoes. Furthermore, Nike is not likely to show actual confusion at the point of sale in order to establish a likelihood of confusion, particularly at this stage of the proceedings. And Mischief's argument that purchasers of its shoes are too sophisticated to be confused is unavailing when its products contain Nike's identical mark on a directly competitive product. In such case, even careful inspection of the shoes would be of doubtful value. So Nike's saying the mark on the shoe is our trademark. So, So they're saying they're likely to succeed on the merits. We're not going to go through all of it because you know why? They did succeed in this TRO order, and I will break down the legal arguments here a little bit later because I think they'll be helpful for people to understand where the boundaries are of where you can modify and resell and where this is running afoul of it, because there are things you can modify and resell, but there's boundaries to that. Like with the law, like with everything, it depends. And this is pushing the it depends a bit too far. Mischief argued that they have First Amendment rights to make art. Nike was like, not with our trademark, you don't. Then they shared this image. Nike shared this in the lawsuit. This is the confusing shit. This is the image with that giant white swoop that sticks out in everybody's mind. This image is what everybody thinks of when they think of the Nike Satan shoe. Please give us our TRO. So then the court went, okay, we'll give you your TRO. And the court has temporarily restrained, by the way, I love this minute order. I'm just going to pull it up. The minute order from the court clerk or potentially the research attorney said, case called, arguments made. For the reasons stated on the record, the court grants plaintiff's motion for a temporary restraining order. Thank you for being succinct. Case called, arguments made. It was like, hey, honey, what happened today? Went to work. Things happened. So here is the court's order. Let's pull up what they're not allowed to do. The court said repeatedly in this that on the brief evidence, it's likely that Nike will prevail on the merits with regard to the restraining order. So based on the limited record, I conclude that the facts set forth in the above mentioned materials offers sufficient evidence that, so this is what the court is finding sufficient evidence of. Nike is the owner of Nike wordmark and the swoosh design. No shit. On March 29th, Mischief took orders for 666 pairs of Satan shoes. The Satan shoes contained the swoosh design and were marketed using the Nike wordmark. Mischief also used Nike's trademark and logo on its website in several places. Nike has not given approval for Mischief's use of Nike's mark. Nike has shown a likelihood of success on at least some of its claims. Specifically, Nike has carried its burden at this stage of showing that Mischief's actions are likely to confuse and likely are confusing consumers about the origin, sponsorship, or approval of Mischief's goods. And that's what I thought if I said if there's anything, it's the brand confusion, right? I don't think it's these are knockoff goods. I think that this is the brand confusion. Nike has also demonstrated that Mischief's actions are likely to dilute and tarnish Nike's marks, right? Because people are out here thinking Nike made Satan shoes. Nike demonstrated a likelihood of irreparable harm absent this temporary restraining order on the record before me. Defendant has not rebutted the presumption of irreparable harm. And I find that the issuance of the requested temporary restraining order is in the public interest and that the harm to Nike in denying the motion outweighs the harm to Mischief in granting it. The court is saying, look, if these shoes go walking around, it's going to be really bad for Nike. But Mischief having to delay the shoes is not really going to hurt Mischief because if they win at the end, they ship the shoes. Everyone who bought a pair of these shoes is going to immediately run to eBay and be like, these shoes are fucking famous. Buy them. They're already all on eBay. So we're going to see more of that. Thus, on this limited record, I find that a temporary restraining order is necessary. Temporary restraining order is ordered and Mischief is enjoined from or stop. Hammer time. They're stopped from doing the following things. Fulfilling any orders for defendant's Satan shoes. The law clerk that got to write Satan shoes 900 times in this is so good. Fulfilling any orders for defendant's Satan shoes. Using the Nike word mark or the Nike swoosh mark or any mark that is confusingly similar to plaintiff's marks or is a derivation or colorable imitation thereof, regardless of whether used alone or with other terms. Meaning, take all of the pictures of shoes down off of your socials and your websites, all of it now, please. Referring to or using any prohibited marks in any advertising, marketing, or promotion. So, Mischief is going to have to wipe Nike from the face of all of their stuff. Excuse me. And then they can't instruct or help anyone else do that. So they can't fulfill the orders for the shoes and they can't do anything else. I will be so interested to see if we start getting videos of people like, I got my shoes. Fascinating. Order to show cause for preliminary injunction. It's further ordered that this is back in court April 14th, 2021. So back in court April 14th to see if there is a preliminary injunction. The preliminary injunction in this will be until the case is resolved, which actually could push this case closer to settlement and faster towards settlement, which might just be that Mischief has to pay Nike for a license to the shoe. At this point, I don't think Nike will license it to them because of the potential brand reputation. So it might be that Nike ends up refunding Mischief for the shoes they purchased and then taking the shoes, or Nike just takes the shoes and Mischief has to pay Nike for tarnishing the brand reputation through the advertising. Either way, Mischief has become much better known. And Lil Nas X's video has definitely seen a bump, I think, in its release because everyone's talking about it. Like, you can't buy this kind of publicity, especially for an art collective that's like, see, the evil corporation is trying to take us down and our expression is being limited. Like, I get it. The marketing behind all of this is genius. And I think we're coming into a brave new world. I spoke at the University of Memphis to a class of social media students who were amazing on, I don't even know what day, Thursday? Was it just yesterday? And I was talking about how I think lawsuits are going to play into the next wave of social media and PR because Nike's Nike's only way to get their side of the story out with this was to sue, because Nike makes a statement isn't going to stick out in consumers' minds. Like, oh, Nike made a statement. You would assume, right? If you just saw Nike make statement about Satan shoes, you'd be like, oh, Nike's just apologizing. Like, want. You shouldn't have made them. But you see a headline that Nike's suing, and most people are like, oh, I understand. Nike wasn't a part of this. Oh, that's so interesting. So I think lawsuits are going to be a part and a very strategic part of public relations going forward. And I think lawsuits will start to take into account the social media of it all, which we definitely saw in the lawsuit that I have mentioned in multiple times at this point. No, I'm not being sued. For those of you that haven't watched my videos on the Toddy Westbrook case, you can do that. So little cat, you go to University of Memphis, but you're a psych major. See, well, that's okay. I got to come talk. It's fun. If we need to talk about social media and psych, let me know. I love talking at schools, including law schools. Bindi B, this Empire Records reference is flawless. Damn the man. Save the Empire. Hi, I'm Warren. Sorry. Oh my God. I'll start quoting Empire Records. I freaking love that movie. I love it so, so much. Not on Rex Manning Day. I'm going to sit over here and have my own little party about Empire Records. If you haven't seen Empire Records, God, it's such a good movie. What are we talking about next? What did I say we were talking about next? We're talking about Girardi next. Question, what about the biohazard issue with the blood in them? I think because it's only one drop of blood and it's mixed with paint, it probably doesn't rise to enough blood to actually be a biohazard. I really don't. I just don't. Let's go to Girardi by way of a quick update. And when I say quick, I mean quick because I want to talk about Jen Shah. So this week I put out a Tom Girardi update, which kind of went through the entire case up until now. But the state bar just filed charges against Tom Girardi, formal charges to disbar him. What? The state bar has finally taken action. So even though Tom Girardi is not eligible to practice law, the reason he's not eligible to practice law, and I'll just show you on the state bar's website, and I haven't even gotten to see if the complaint against Girardi is up yet. If it is, I will share it on social media and we'll talk about it next week. Because there's so much that happened with Jen Shah. So when we look at the state bar profile for Tom Girardi, and yes, you can go on the state bar and find this information yourself. He is not eligible to practice law. Oh, finally, we finally have a consumer alert. If only this had happened sooner and all of the people who hired him would have known. Wouldn't that have been helpful? Because look, when you pull him up on the state bar now there's maybe a warning to a person that this had happened. Wouldn't that have been nice? Did I forget to turn on my overhead light? I totally did. Oh well, hopefully there's enough light. If the background gets very dark and my face is very bright, I forgot to turn on my second light, but that's okay. Whatever. We're professionals here, people. Have a drink. Okay. Consumer alert. The state bar has filed disciplinary charges against this licensee, alleging that the licensee engaged in a major misappropriation of client funds. You think? You may read the notice of disciplinary charges filed by the state bar against licensee and response filed by the licensee at State Bar Court Smart Search. You may also learn more about the general nature of misappropriation of client funds. Hey, baby, I got your money. Hey, that's the summary of misappropriation of client funds. So not eligible to practice law, but he's not eligible because he was ordered inactive, and he was ordered inactive on March 9th because of the conservatorship. If he was disbarred, this would say disbarred. He's ordered inactive by a disciplinary proceeding, not by disbarment yet. They sure are trying. Let's see if these records are available yet, because they weren't available literally like yesterday. And I know that Baby I Got Your Money is a song about, pimping and prostitution. Like, I get it, but it applies in this context too. Baby, I got your money, don't you worry. Hey, no, these still aren't up. Ugh, that's so annoying. You can find them here. I mean, we haven't populated them yet, but you can find them here. They're not up yet. When they're up, I will absolutely share them with you guys. So the state bar has finally taken some level of action. Finally. The news reporting on this has shared that the state bar has filed, charges over the misappropriation of funds. We know what the misappropriation of funds are. We've seen the reports and the interviews with clients and all of it. So we know what that is about. And that's what it is. Business Insider has a famed lawyer Tom Girardi and Housewife star Erika Jayne flaunted their life of excess. Now with accusations of a Ponzi scheme, they may lose it all. I'm just here. Look, we're just going to do this because I'm going to be that bitch right now. Who said this was a Ponzi scheme? Who said this felt like a Ponzi scheme? Who said it months ago? Me. I did. And when I was on No Filter with Zach, we talked about it a little bit, why I used that analogy with regards to this. And he had another guest, Ron Richards, who might have said, well, no, it's not a Ponzi scheme, blah, blah, blah. When Zach asked him about my assertion that this was like a Ponzi scheme, you know why? Because it fucking is like a Ponzi scheme. Emily just said it. I'm going to have to go find it. I'm going to have to pull like a Bea Lucille and be like, Emily talking about Tom Girardi's Ponzi scheme for 15 minutes straight. I'm going to have to go pull my old video on it because I talked about it. Because I did. All right. What does Business Insider say? I haven't read this yet. I'm going to put the link in. This is why Tom Girardi's accountant does not want to assist with the bankruptcy because he doesn't want to go to jail. So, I mean, yeah, Missy, it is what it is. Look, there's plenty of room for everybody's commentary. All lawyers come at things with a different perspective, but I'm just going to go ahead and say sometimes the women's intuition, the former prosecutor brain, sees things for what they are. And it just feels like when I say this is a Ponzi scheme, it just feels like a Ponzi scheme. You know. There are also multiple LA Times articles that have been very, very good on this case. All right, I'm just going to take a look at this and then we're going to move forward because what's happening in the bankruptcy court right now is that his accountant doesn't want to have anything to do with this at all. It's just wild. So early last year, Erika Jayne, the flamboyant club singer and Real Housewife of Beverly Hills star, was at the top of her game. She was starring in Chicago, lived in the 10,000 square foot Pasadena mansion, flew on a private Gulfstream jet, spent $40,000 a month on glam. Accurate. Zach was great. I was so happy to be on Zach's show. We had such a good time. The source of all the wealth that she has been frank about was her husband, Tom Girardi. They married in 2000 when Erika was 33 years, Girardi's junior, and was working as a restaurant server. The Pasadena house had armed guards. The armed guards, by the way, are suing because they didn't get paid. And Girardi had reserved tables at Morton's Steakhouse, close to his Wilshire Boulevard office, with a supply of his preferred Burgundy Vigo on hand. They had 2 private planes, a collection of cars, including an Aston Martin that's leased, a Land Rover that's leased, and a Mercedes S560 also leased. You know why? Because it's in all the bankruptcy filings. He funded a Frank Gehry design building at his alma mater. I think they've changed the name at Loyola Law School. If anyone's at Loyola Law School, let me know, because I think they changed the name of the building at Loyola. His firm, Girardi Keese, I see your questions about a Ponzi scheme. I will absolutely get to that in just a second. His firm, Girardi Keese, crank out tort cases the way other firms made photocopies, suing giants like Shell or Boeing on behalf of everyday people. His reputation is he's a superstar, and deservedly so. Robert A. Clifford, a Chicago lawyer who knows Girardi, said, until it all crumbled. I don't have any money, Girardi told a judge in September. That's all gone. Except what we know in the bankruptcy filings is there's at least one bank account with $5 million sitting in it. So, just saying, Girardi last year won an International Legendary Lawyer Award and is accused of stealing millions from clients, lawyers, and lenders. Girardi Keese has effectively gone under. Yeah, it's been shuttered. Girardi's law license suspended. Erica's divorcing him. Just in time, some speculate to protect her assets from the bankruptcy proceedings. I don't think her assets are going to be protected. The very lawyers who once praised Girardi now suspect him of having run a Ponzi scheme. Are we watching Emily's channel? Because I've said it. Taking money earmarked for clients and using it for his own extravagances to pay off other clients waiting for funds. They say the alleged scheme, which started to unravel years ago, seemed to fall apart when the coronavirus shut down courts. I said that. Insider, you can just call me. We'll talk. You can just call me. We'll talk. With no new settlements being approved, there was a cork in Girardi's money flow, insiders say. At a December hearing, a federal judge overseeing the case in which Girardi was accused of stealing $2 million from families and victims in the Lion Air crash warned Girardi of the severity of the allegations. No matter what your personal financial situation is, no matter what kind of pressure you're under, Thomas M. Durkin said, if you touch client money, you're going to be disbarred and quite possibly charged criminally. Yes. 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 Let's see what else they say. They talk about Girardi growing up, went to Loyola High School, which is in LA, Loyola Marymount University in LA, and Loyola Law School. Oh, he went to all the Loyolas. Marrying his first wife, a finalist for Loyola's Homecoming Queen in 1964, the same year he graduated from law school. That's Karen, by the way. And Karen would like her spousal support payments, she told the bankruptcy court. So this is a very, very long article. Let's go through and see what else they said. One of the other things in the bankruptcy filings was the amount he was spending on his private box at the Staples Center. It was crazy. This is a extensive article. I don't see where they're talking more about the Ponzi scheme. So I'm going to read this later and we'll go back through it. But that's why his accountant doesn't want to talk to the bankruptcy court, because his accountant is worried that he's going to get criminally charged in all of this. This is extensive. There's the Housewives. Hello, Housewives. Yeah, that is super, super long. As for his former clients, some are litigating and waiting, hoping to get a portion of what they're due. Others have given up. I can absolutely understand that. All right. So this gets into the bankruptcy proceedings. The next thing we're going to talk about with Girardi is why the accountant is trying to evade the bankruptcy court. We're not going to touch into that tonight. We're going to have to really dig into that a little bit more. But where we're at with this is that the state bar is finally taking action. The house is about to go up for sale. That was approved by the court. And so it looks like the house is going to list around $13 million. I think it will sell for less. And away we go with the Girardi stuff. So, Ponzi scheme. The general gist of a Ponzi scheme is a type of a pyramid scheme where you are paying investors from the new money that's coming in. So different courts and different jurisdictions prosecute that differently, but the scheme is generally using the money coming in to keep the people who are owed money from getting mad. And as long as you keep bringing in new money, you're giving money to the old people so that they don't get mad. That should never, never happen. Never happen in a law firm. It's like when you have debts with regard to attorney financing for a certain case, the money from that case should go to it. And there absolutely should have been IOLTA accounts that are insured. doesn't seem that that's what he was doing, because here's what it seems like, the gift heart. Yes, you have to have insured accounts, but here's what it seems. He was telling the clients, you have the money, but let me invest it for you and give you payouts on it. So he was then paying out the victims and then holding their money separately. So I think that's how he was moving it out of the client account and back into the firm accounts to do it. So that's what I thought with that. Other Girardi stuff that I wanted to update on. No, the house selling, that's about it for Girardi. Okay, I totally forgot it. I totally forgot to do this on the last one. I should have. We need to move on to Jen Shah stuff, because it's Shah-tastic, it's Shah-mazing, it's Shah wildness. I'm going to pull up Instagram real quick, because her post on Instagram today is not, it's just not sitting right with me. She is 100% just kind of going in on this like perception that she is like a baller shot caller. So before her arraignment, she was in full glam. I have that picture. I shared it on Twitter. I'll pull it up in a second. But today before arraignment, her hairstylist posted, and then she reposted this stuff on her Snapchat story. So let me see. Let me turn the volume up on this. So she's playing Cardi B in this. I'm not playing more because copyright is real, but she's bumping Cardi with her hair head to toe Gucci. And this says at the end of this, like, unarrested, and a few other things that are kind of poking shade at the fact that she's about to be arraigned on federal charges. And this is before, I think, the $1 million bond was leveraged against her. So she's just, yep. Thank you for being loyal, believing in me, and not believing the hype. Oh, damn it. The journey has showed me who my true friends are. All my love, Shah Squad. So is somebody already selling free Jen sweatshirts? Because today the AUSA said that she was the tip of the pyramid. So yeah, I look, I can get behind free Britney, but free Jen Shah is not happening. It's not hype, by the way. It's a federal fucking indictment. That's not hype. I'm going to show you the picture of the hair when she was arrested, and then we're going to get into what the actual charges are. I have posted way too much on Twitter lately when I can't find the picture. There it is. That's how much I've posted on Twitter. It's been a lot. I live tweeted the arraignment hearing today if you want to go back and relive it. So this was the post from her makeup artist. Her makeup artist said, please stop messaging me about Jen. I don't have any tea or answers. I'm just a makeup artist. She posted these pictures when Jen was getting ready to go on the cast trip right before she was arrested. She was leaving to go on the cast trip when she was arrested. The tea. Okay, let's talk about what happened. Let's talk about the federal indictment. Let's talk about the arraignment today. Quick catch up, and I have a breakdown of the indictment. So if you want to go watch that video, please do. I'm just going to cover this really quickly again for those in the back. I've also been on a number of podcasts to talk about this. And I have talked to the Andy's Girls podcast. I have talked to Behind the Velvet Rope. There is another one I'm forgetting, but I will keep sharing them on my social media as they come out. I talked about it on Up and Adam as well. So, and I talked about it here, I think. Didn't I talk about it here? I talked about it here on Wednesday. It's been such a long week. So she has been charged in a federal indictment. That means that this went to the grand jury. The grand jury said, yeah, good enough. You can go ahead and arrest her. There is a conspiracy to commit wire fraud charge and a conspiracy to launder money. The wire fraud is based on a telemarketing scheme. Here's the basis of that on the telemarketing scheme. She was getting leads and then sending those leads to sales floors that would sell and upsell people into business opportunities, but then not deliver on those business opportunities. So it wouldn't deliver on the website or the services. And they just kept saying, oh, well, if you want this more service, if you want to get out of this, then you need to pay more, then you need to do this, and on and on and on. I posted a link that one of you shared with me to the Better Business Bureau complaints about one of these companies. There are multiple of them. And it has a number of individuals that went through their experience and how they were defrauded. And it really tells the story of how they were asked for money, how they kept being upsold for money, how they were told to get more credit cards or to ask family for money or to take money out of 401ks. And it goes through this whole scheme. She was pulling in the people and handing them off. And the indictment alleges, because again, these are all allegations, these haven't been proven yet, well, except to a grand jury, but innocent till proven guilty. The indictment says that she was pulling in the leads and then picking where that lead would go, which sales floor it would go to, who would be perpetrating the fraud. And then she received a cut of the money. And then that money went to offshore accounts. Today in the arraignment, the court indicated that there was quite a lot of money, and they thought, or not the court, the AUSA, and that they thought that quite a lot of that was in cash. But I'm getting ahead of myself. So pulling in these leads, it feels to me like that scene in, is it the second Twilight movie where they're at the Volturi? That's the second one, right? And the vampires are bringing in the tourists to do a tour, and it's like, come on in. It's as Bella and Edward are leaving and they're bringing in all of these people. Come see the tour. And then they put them in the room and the vampires eat them all. That's what it feels like. Like Jen, based on these allegations, is the one that was like, come on in. Let's get you this business. And in the press release, part of it is the flaunting the success and the lifestyle. So it makes it easier for her to sell, right? It's like, look at how successful I am. Don't you want to know? So that is what is alleged in this scheme. And then the money laundering, again, money laundering at its most basic form is making dirty money clean. It's literally cleaning money. Laundering money means making crime money, clean money. So trying to conceal the origin of the money, trying to make sure it's not money that came from the crime. So trying to conceal the source of the movie. I don't know a better way to describe it. What's interesting to me is that the money laundering charge goes from 2012 to 2019, November 2019, but the charge in the business opportunity wire fraud scheme goes from 2012 to March 2021. I think that's very important when we talk about what Jen Shah knew and when Jen Shah knew it. Of course, she's not the only defendant charged here. Her assistant, Stuart Smith, assistant number one, he would do anything for me, is also charged. All right. So in the money laundering, it's just making money clean or trying to conceal the origin of it, pushing it through offshore bank accounts, et cetera, et cetera. Forfeiture allegations go to attach real and personal property. It's the government's way of saying we're going to take your shit and sell it because you forfeit the right to your shit because your shit was purchased with criminal funds. And if it's crime money and you bought it, then we can take it back. Give us the Gucci is what the government is saying. They're not actually saying give us the Gucci. The real property that's described is in Lehigh, Utah. I believe this is Stuart Smith's real property because today Jen Shah's attorneys said that she does not own any real property in her name. the underlying indictment, and these cases are getting folded together, and you might hear that term today because her case is getting pulled into the underlying case. The name of the case is the U.S. versus Anthony Chidi. This is the same case number. This is the indictment that was filed November 19th, 2019. There are 9 defendants charged here. A number of them have pled already. I think they snitched on Jen Shah, and that's why she didn't get indicted in November 2019 and got indicted now. This is the same scheme. So all of these defendants have a conspiracy to commit wire fraud and then a conspiracy to obstruct justice, or just the obstruction of justice. Then the thing that was most interesting in this indictment is that the website where they were bringing in leads, they referred to among co-conspirators as the money-sucking website. I'm like, y'all, what? So these individuals were all indicted on November 2019. There was a raid of the locations in January 2019. There is no way, with all of this going down, that in November 2019, she was not aware of this scheme. So today what happened is she was arraigned in court. Your arraignment is kind of the first stop of the proceedings. She got arrested, she got arraigned, and the arraignment today changed some of her conditions of release, but gave us a lot of information. So let's talk about the arraignment, and then we're going to get into question. It's so much. So there are now bail conditions. Both defendants, Shah and Smith, are out on $1 million bond. That means that if you don't show up, the bond is forfeited and people are going to come and take your cash. But it's not just $1 million bond. As to Jen Shah, there's also a $250,000 cash or property security, plus 2 signers, which are adult in good standing signers. And those 2 signators have to present themselves for questioning to the AUSAs to say, yes, if she doesn't show up, we're responsible. All of this is done to secure her appearance at court dates and to secure her eventual turning herself in or surrendering herself if she is sentenced to prison time, which, based on what was said today in court, I feel like is pretty likely because the AUSA did not come to play. And if any of you listened to the court today, the court will call the AUSA, the Assistant U.S. Attorney, the government, just the way that in a state level court, you hear them referred to as the people. But the government attorney did not hold back. But Jen Shah's attorney kicked open the fucking door for all the information that came spilling out today about this. The attorneys for Jen Shah were arguing that she didn't need the bond and that she didn't need the $250,000 in additional security, that she wasn't a flight risk, that she was famous enough to be recognized, that she'd already turned over her passport, and that her passport's expired anyway. Well, the government wasn't having any of it. The government said, well, she is a flight risk. We don't know how much longer she will be a public figure. I love that the government attorney's like, look, bitch, she's been on 1 season of Salt Lake City. Like, let's not get it twisted. And we don't even know if she's going to continue to be on Salt Lake City. Like, let's be for real. We'll see if she's still a public figure. But they were trying to argue she's recognizable. She can't just go to the airport, and get on a plane. People will see that it's her. The government wasn't having it. The government also said that this is a long-running investigation, that there is another case that involved this ring with other groups of defendants, the Katachi case. And I know that Bravo Bone Collector and I believed Bravo Ducking Bravo both talked about this on Instagram, the other case. So there is like 2 groups of defendants from this same fraud scheme. Long-running investigation that these defendants, and I typed it verbatim, literally was sitting here like this today, like while I was listening to the arraignment. This is what the government said. The government said these defendants are at the highest level of the scheme as charged, and that since 2017, multiple shell companies have been formed, including Mastery Pro Group, which is co-owned by Smith and Shaw. The bank accounts in that one company have received over $5 million in crime proceeds in just the last few years. Smith is the only signer on the accounts that the government is aware of, but Shaw has been holding herself out as the owner. A search of her house uncovered debit cards in her home in the name of Mastery Pro Group. Shaw and Smith controlled together the crime proceeds of those accounts and others, and there are other shell companies that the Mastery Pro Groups contain large numbers of cash withdrawals, and the government believes that Shaw and Smith both have access to large amounts of cash crime proceeds, and in light of that, the $250,000 is a modest security. The court asked what other businesses are owned because, and the court was not pleased, the financial disclosure lists as assets simply checking and savings accounts. So the court's like, wait a second. What? You didn't disclose everything on your financial disclosure. The financial disclosure was done with pretrial services when they did the risk assessment for bail and for flight and all of her information. That is a document where you are required to be truthful. And so the court is saying, wait a second. If there were other businesses, legitimate businesses owned, why weren't they listed on the financial statement? And the court called the financial statement, quote, highly unreliable. That is the court's way of saying, I believe that Jen Shah is not being upfront with the court because not putting the information on the financial statement is a big no-no. The defense attorney for Shaw said that, well, the financial records were taken from her house with the search, so maybe she just didn't have her financial records at the time of the interview. Y'all, like she forgot the other businesses that she owned. Like, I don't own any other businesses. I don't have any other business checking accounts. I don't have any other business credit cards, because the defense said she has a lashes business, a beauty business, and a fashion business, in addition to her Real Housewife funds. And listening to the attorneys try to say that she was like, oh, and yeah, she's also on this TV show. Hilarious. So the court believes that her financial statement is highly unreliable because she didn't list her other businesses. The defense attorneys tried to kind of walk it back, saying that, you know, she's really visible. She's not a flight risk. She's not going to apply for charges. The court said, how is she paid from Real Housewives and her businesses? And the defense is like, she's an entrepreneur. She does a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and she derives some income from her businesses and the show. The court said that she is a flight risk, that they are taking her passport, that she's got to pony up the $250,000 and that they're not having it, essentially, and that she needs to surrender any other travel documents. The court also said no contact with co-defendants, victims, or witnesses. Here's what was interesting. The court's order on no contact with victim or witnesses included the statement that are known to her, because her defense attorneys, I believe, are aware that this fraud scheme is so large that she could have contact with a victim or a witness and not know it. Because the scheme is so large, she might not know all of the victims and witnesses. So they actually modified that condition of release to victims and witnesses known to her. She's allowed to travel within Utah and New York and DC, where one of her attorneys is. No contact with co-defendants. I said that. Maintain employment, continue with mental health treatments as directed by pretrial services. And she can continue with treatment at a Little Rock or Lion Rock facility. It seems that Lion Rock is some kind of drug and alcohol treatment, that there is not to be any drug use and no excessive use of alcohol, which I feel like is going to preclude her from filming with the Housewives. That alone, she can't open any bank accounts, no lines of credit. She needs prior approval to do anything. And they changed the amount of money that she can withdraw at a time, with the exception of attorney's fees. And the attorneys probably got whatever cash they could get from her before all of this started, but to 5,000 per transaction. It was 10,000 per transaction coming out of Utah. Then I'm going through my notes real quick. Then they moved on to Smith. They determined that he was, embedded with the community, that they didn't need to put up the 250,000 that they could sign on his house, even though his house is, they said they didn't think that the equity in it was up to that $250,000 level. The court and the government were satisfied if he signed over his house as collateral and if his wife signed on as the financially responsible adult. They did indicate that there was a question about his pretrial services information because $15,000 in cash was taken out of his home during the search, but it was not listed on his pretrial services interview. I don't find that to be as troubling as Jen Shah's lack of veracity, it seems, on her pretrial or her pretrial services forms, because I can understand for him, if he knew the money was taken in the search, that he wouldn't think of that as being an asset he had because the government has now seized it. I feel like there's a little more room to say, oh, maybe we don't understand. The other things I thought were interesting was we learned for the first time that she is kind of the top of this scheme, at the highest level of this scheme. And in the report, the government's press release, they said that this was the end of this scheme. So she's kind of the last one that they're expecting to indict. They have not indicted her husband, which is very interesting. They didn't talk about Coach Shah at all, but the defense attorney for Smith did bring up his wife. She will be the one that's co-signing on him being released from custody. The court said that the parties must comply with the most recent court order. The trial date is set for October 18th, 2021. If that stands, I'll be in New York. Y'all can hang with me because I'm going to this trial. It's going to happen. I am going to make that happen if it's safe to do so. Of course, that the status of discovery was asked about, and the government said that they will be turning over voluminous discovery. I want to know how many terabytes it is. How many terabytes is this discovery? So they're turning over voluminous discovery to the defense this week. And then the government indicated that additional evidence has been collected in the last few weeks, along with electronic devices seized in the searches, that they are trying to get everything from those within the next 3 weeks. Motions are due to the court in May. So these legal teams are going to have to do it. Bravo, ducking, bravo. Yes, let's all go to New York. We'll hold commentary con with Bravo commentary con. We'll all do reporting and commentary from the trial and then go out to dinner every night. It will be fantastic. It will be so good. We're going to do it. So the court said that motions are due May 10th, which is fast. The case is being folded into the underlying indictment, meaning this case is a train on the move. We're throwing you into the compartment and you are on this train. You're going to trial when they go to trial. If I am Stuart Smith's lawyer, I am on the phone with the AUSA today saying, we've been super cooperative and we'd like to continue being cooperative. We sure don't like the idea of prison time, but we'd like to work with you. What would you like to know, Madam Government? Let's have a chitty chat. That would be exactly what I am doing. What else? The court reminded everyone that recording and rebroadcasting of the proceedings is prohibited. The court said that multiple times. I understand that when the public is interested in stuff like this, that not everybody understands how illegal it is to record this or rebroadcast it. Now, live tweeting is different. It's not rebroadcasting the audio, but the court is very mindful of that. And the court hopes that future proceedings will take place in person in court. And we're out. That's the catch up. That's the stuff. Let's get to questions. Let's get to your questions. Put them in a question box. We can ask questions about anything I've talked tonight. And if you want to hear my thoughts on James Charles, let me know. We'll talk about that too. I just want to hang out and chat with y'all because holy fucking shit, this week has been a lot. It's been a lot. It's been a lot. Bedazzled, I can't process that information yet because it like hurts my soul and I feel personally attacked. So I can't process that. Too much has happened today. Like too much has happened today. And I just can't. So post a question and we will get to it. I will pull up all the things. All right. Let's see. Yes, please write question before question, and we will. We will. Who's James Charles? Yes, James Charles. Yes, James Charles. Yes, James Charles. Okay, let's ask this, and then I'll get to Ponzi scheme. Ponzi scheme is second, Sarah. I've got you. I do watch him. I haven't watched the one about James Charles yet. Okay, James Charles. Problematic beauty YouTuber? Is he a TikToker now? James Charles is at the heart of a sister scandal. I've talked about it on this channel. I've talked about what's going on with him. It looks like he might have also been soliciting nudes from minors based on everything that comes out, in addition to having inappropriate text conversations. I'm going to answer this question about, I have thoughts about Toddy too. So James yesterday had taking account, was it called taking accountability? And then he didn't take accountability at all. Was that what it was called? He had an apology video that was terrible yesterday. It was just not it. There's one scene from this video I want to share with you guys real quick to see if you see it. I think this is it. His hair changed a lot during the video, but at the beginning of the video, stick with me. I normally don't come for what people are doing with their hair or whatever, but I can't unsee it, and I need your thoughts. It looks like an Imperial Star Destroyer. It looks like he has an Imperial Star Destroyer for a hat. It is the same shape. It is the same shape. It is the same shape. I need somebody to Photoshop. I need someone to Photoshop a Star Destroyer on James's head. I can't make this any bigger. But that's what it looks like. That's what it looks like. It looks like he has a ship on his head. That's my thoughts. So James has been called out all over the internet and TikTok for inappropriate behavior with minors. Texting, sexting, soliciting nudes, which is illegal. I've talked about the sexting. Sexting is harder to prosecute criminally. Soliciting images is not. This apology did nothing but deflect. I don't know, like on the scales of culpability for behavior, David Dobrik's behavior is gross. James Charles' behavior is so much worse than that. So I don't understand the level of cancellation. I also think that with this video, and I'm going to rewatch Bye Sister, and I'm going to rewatch this video. I think this James Charles video, please let me know in the chat. I think this James Charles video says Bye Sister's true. Says I should have listened to Bye Sister. I should have heard what was being said to me in 2019. And if I had heard what was said to me in 2019, I wouldn't be here today. I think he validated everything Tati said in Bye Sister, which goes to the veracity of Bye Sister, which again, if it goes to the veracity of Bye Sister, what is KJ's defense? Because in the motion to dismiss, the entire story that was laid out from the legal team for Without a Crystal Ball was Tati wrongfully came after James Charles. Tati preyed on James Charles to take him out because he was a rival to her business. But I think James Charles came out in this video and said, I should have listened to Tati. Also, for those of you that don't know, this is a Lego version, but this is what the Star Destroyer looks like. Like that's what James's hair looks like to me. I think the apology video that I hated it, validated everything that Tati Westbrook said. That's what I think. That's what I think. And so if Bi Sister is true, the defamation case shifts, because part of the defamation case as it was pled, and if it is refiled, part of the defamation case was that Tati's Bi Sister was lies and she was doing it to damage a business rival. And that's what was in the motion to dismiss. So this video from James saying, I should have listened to Tati, it was true, undermines the entire motion to dismiss. And if that continues to be their defense, if this is refiled, oof. So why do I think Tati hasn't refiled? Well, shit keeps happening. And I think they are probably pulling in everything that happened from the time of the filing of the first lawsuit. I think they're probably taking time to add the additional things that happened after the lawsuit was filed. So that's what it is. I'm absolutely going to have to go watch the re-uploaded Bi Sister. It can be found, and I'm going to have to watch that and watch this because I think this validates Bi Sister. I think that's what happens. I think that's what happened. And I think that it has impact or will have impact in the lawsuit if the lawsuit's refiled. I want to be a fly on the wall when Saltsy washes this and has a conversation with Tati about it. I was desperate is never, ever an excuse for messaging minors, because they're minors. And part of it is that I'm the mom of a 13-year-old boy. Some of the boys he was messaging are 14 years old. Like, if my kid's favorite YouTuber reached out to them on social media, which can't happen because my kids don't have social media, but still, if my kid's favorite YouTuber reached out to them on social media, I don't know if my kid would make good choices, because they would be so blown away by the fact that, Mr. Beast has told them to go buy a burger, or by the fact that I forget who T's favorite YouTuber is at the moment, but they would be so swept away with it. And so James's whole I don't even know what this fame power balance thing is. No, the drama channels have covered this beautifully. Look, Aphrodite predicted this shit and he's got it on his TikTok. Bia Lucille predicted this. She's got it on her YouTube. Peter Mon's breakdown of this has been wonderful. I have watched Nick and Dustin talk about it. I am going to catch up on everybody else talking about it after this. I think the resounding and universal response to this video is it was terrible. And at one point I felt like James was lecturing me about why I needed to know that discussions about messaging minors needs to happen on social media. Shut the fuck up, James Charles. This was a horrible video. I think it has the tangential effect of validating Bi Sister, which kind of undermines the entire defense in the defamation case if that case moves forward and is refiled. And it could potentially be used against him. So I don't even know why he put this on the internet. He should have never uploaded this video. He should have never uploaded this video. And if it stays up, I will be shocked. I shouldn't be chewing ice. I have a microphone. I'm sorry. It's a habit that my husband hates. Ashley, in the Girardi case, they are still going to be figuring out who is first in line, because part of what the bankruptcy court does is figure out the order of priority for the secured loans, the perfected loans, the liens, the taxes. So the bankruptcy court is still working to put those things in order. So we don't know yet. The bankruptcy court's putting that in order. I am by far not a bankruptcy expert, but in general, there are certain exemptions with regard to the personal bankruptcy that come before everything, then certain types of judgments and property liens and taxes, and secured liens, like loans that are secured to property, and then unsecured loans go at the bottom. So that's what this is. What do you think her lawyers thought of her social media post today with regard to Jen Shah? I hope that her lawyers are social media savvy and are reading the room and are telling her to step back from social. But based on the fact that she has continued posting, I don't think they have. And as a former prosecutor, I would be sitting there going, post it all, post it all. Because I want to see everything. Talk about it all. Yes, it's a Bethany Frankel reference. I'm going to keep getting to. I thought of Flock of Seagulls too. Oh, Bart. Yep. Question: Did you watch Peter Mon's thoughts on James? I really liked his thoughts. I watched his thoughts yesterday. I'm sure he has more thoughts. I always find Peter to be so thoughtful. YouTubers, influencers. If you find yourself in a sister scandal, and look, I'm not making light because the shit James has done is serious shit. But if you find yourself in a scandal, you need to hope that you're friends with Peter Mon and you need to call him and say, friend, what do I do? Because Peter's gut is right on with this stuff. And I really appreciated his insight of how he broke down, look, James needs to listen. He needs people around him. And this is a problem. Yeah, he had his hair permed a while ago to look like all the other TikTok boys that are 14. It's dumb hair. I don't like it. Whose blood is in the shoes? Scully, you didn't miss it. I didn't talk about it today. Mischief has said, or it's been reported, that it was employees or artists at the art collective that used their own blood. The body language people read him to absolute filth. I lived. I'm going to watch that later tonight. He sat down and just lied. He's like, this is not scripted. And then he's reading from a script and he got progressively angrier. But the members, if you're a channel member, you can go back and watch what I uploaded last night because I do not take down the members only live. They stay up in the members section. So it was funny. I think it was funny. I guess it's not fair for me to determine it's funny. Y'all can determine if it's funny. I'm going to keep looking for questions. Kaylee says it's a tricorn hat 200 years too late. It is. I don't understand the hair of the kids these days. Def Noodles put eggs on his nest of hair. Look, Def Noodles has been putting in the fucking work on Twitter. Def Noodles has all of the TikToks, uploaded TikToks. He has been doing the work on being a kind of streamlined resource to go and find this stuff. I mean, the man, you guys probably already watched Def Noodles. In fact, I know a lot of you do because I can see it in my back-end analytics, but he has been keeping this. I don't know how he stays on top of it so fast. It's been absolutely incredible. I've found his Twitter very, very helpful in all of this. Where are the victim parents with all of this predatory behavior? Look, I am not going to judge and can't judge what another parent can do. I know how I behaved as a teenager. And if my parents are on the Facebooks, which they often are, earmuffs, mom and dad, earmuffs. But here's the thing. I didn't always tell my parents what I was up to. There were these boys in Diamond Bar this one time. My parents didn't always know what I was up to, and I didn't have social media. So I think that some of these minors' parents might not know, and there might be a level of embarrassment because I think some of these minors, look, willfully might have engaged in this messaging. This is why there are laws. Kids' brains are not developed. And they might have willfully engaged in this messaging. It doesn't make it legal if the minors are willing because they cannot consent because they are minors and they might not perceive the damage that being asked to do these things does to them and to their psyches until years and years later. So they might not have shared with their parents how uncomfortable they are, and their parents honestly may not know, but their parents can sue him. I know that's what's happening with the Lopez brothers. It didn't necessarily go to the police, but there's a civil lawsuit. There can be civil lawsuits, there can be criminal liability, but people have to come forward to do that. Wait, James Charles was the number one story on the BBC website in the UK? That is the fact that a YouTuber's behavior on Snapchat and TikTok is number one story in the UK is a big deal. So was Bi Sister warranted as far as it relates to James? He says, I should have listened. I still don't like that Bi Sister was so public, but Tati did say in Bi Sister, I've tried to get through to you. I've tried to get through to you, and I'm worried. So we'll see. I would if I knew what a Star Destroyer was. Thank you, Matt. I pulled up the picture. I'm this far behind in the chat. I'm sorry. The guys he was messaging were 14 to 17 years old. Some of them were in that 16-year-old range, 15, 16-year-old range. Tati was wrong about him, but kind of ended up being right. I mean, he said he should have listened. He said he should have listened. So that's my read on all of this. Question, I'm sorry if it's a little off topic. It's okay. Do you think the reason Tati is not refiled is because of the FBI probe, or do you think she is just strategically waiting or not going to refile? I think that a couple things. One, they might be waiting. They might be close to getting more information on the hacking stuff, and they might want to add that too. If they have information they can add. Speculation. They might be working on adding in additional things that happened from the filing of the last lawsuit up until this point in time. I saw a really sus comment that her husband made in a chat saying, you know, essentially, and I know that Truth Sleuth has had great videos on these, and so has Drama and Opinions. And if I'm missing anybody that's also covered this comment, I apologize. But he made a comment in the chat like, and I'm paraphrasing, this is a win for us. They might not refile. And if they do, I have information that's damaging to them. They might be looking into bringing those kinds of statements into causes of action too. So I think whatever comes next, it's going to be I think they're going to refile. I think it's going to be a substantially rounded out complaint from what we saw in round one. I will be... That was loud. Fred and George knocked something over. So that's what that was. Sorry. As long as nobody's hurt or bleeding. So I totally lost my train of thought. I apologize. So I think they're going to round this out. I will be shocked if they don't refile. It doesn't mean they couldn't be having behind the scenes settlement conversations. That can be happening too. Question, I missed what Jen Shah is using as collateral for bail. We don't know yet. She has 2 weeks to come up with cash or property. Your money or your life. Sorry, that I'm going to go to Traveling Wilburys music apparently this evening. Question, how much apology can you actually make without opening yourself up to more prosecution though? How honest can he really even be? I don't know why he uploaded this video. I really, really don't. If I were his attorney, I would have advised against it. I would not have let him upload this video because I don't think it helps him as much as it could possibly hurt him. I think if he wanted to upload a taking accountability video, holding myself accountable, you sit down and you say, I have seen the accusations online. I am dealing with this privately behind the scenes. I am deleting Snapchat off of my phone. I am taking a step back from social media, and I am going to figure out what is going on with me that this keeps happening. Thank you for your support. I will be back sometime in the future. Good night, New York. Like, I would not have gone into, I now understand what power dynamics are. I know he was like trying to be David Dobrik, but way less authentic, very calculated. It just, the whole thing was a mess and could open him up to more potential issue because he's saying, I did this, but he's also already said, I did this on Twitter. I still think that I perceive that James still thinks that what he did is maybe icky, but not illegal. And he doesn't really see what the big deal is at this point. Tati was definitely warning that this could happen to James, and more he played with fire. So she ended up being right about the behavior. I still think a lot of people don't like the way that she did it. All right. This is probably true. The gift heart. Salty must be laughing. I'm sure. James should have listened to Tati. I'm sure. Yes, because this is a lot of what she called out. Question: can the law people control Real Housewife Bravo's content? So, no, but if Jen Shah continues to film, the feds are going to want the film, which could delay production, which could be a big pain in the ass for Bravo. So how Bravo chooses to proceed, I talked about today with David from Behind the Velvet Rope. We'll see how Bravo chooses to proceed with her, because we saw them choose to proceed with Teresa Giudice. Jen Shah's no Teresa Giudice. So it can delay production. I don't think Bravo is going to want production to be delayed. I think this is the most interest they've had in Salt Lake City, and they're going to want to capitalize on it. And I think Bravo stops filming with Jen, except perhaps for a sit-down confessional style face-to-face interview, because it's easy to turn just that footage over to the FBI. The Bravo has had to deal with this with the Salahi White House crashing stuff, and I'm sure their legal team remembers if that was a pain in the ass for them. Also, I'm just going to ask y'all. So I didn't turn on my overhead lights, but now the lights in the back look a lot brighter, and I'm kind of living. Like, have we stumbled into greatness with this lighting setup? Because I feel like I've stumbled into greatness. I've missed super chats, and for those of you who I missed super chats from, I apologize. I see one of them up at the top. Tennessee Vol Mom, go Vols! Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate it. So. Let me know what you think. Question: buzzer bites. No need to be all cappy caps on it, because the mods will tell you all cappy caps. No need for all cappy caps. But question: does Bravo or Andy Cohen have any responsibility in these train wreck housewives? Are they vetted? I know there's a lot of podcasts that talk about production, talk to people on production. They are vetted. How thoroughly they are vetted, I literally have no idea. Are they responsible? No. I mean, what these women do is up to them. They might be responsible to turn over the footage. I mean, I could see an argument down the road, like, oh, the show's platformed them and allowed them to find more victims. But with regard to Jen Shah, the allegations started well before she was a housewife. So these say this goes back to 2012. I think her being a housewife is a coincidence to a longstanding and ongoing investigation. I think that the AUSAs, like the government and the FBI and Homeland Security, when they saw she was going on a reality show, they all probably pissed themselves laughing. I just can't imagine being in the middle of an investigation like this on a fraud ring, and then one of the targets goes on a housewife show. I would have been with popcorn every single week, looking at everything she said, waiting to subpoena Bravo for all the uncut footage. Sean, I am not familiar with the Matt Gaetz scandal, so I don't have thoughts to share, but thank you for asking. I am not up on absolutely everything, but here's the thing. With Bravo, is this brilliant for them? Because their ratings bumped when Teresa went to jail. We couldn't get it. I couldn't get enough. We were watching it. So is this a benefit to Bravo, really? Is this a benefit to Bravo? Also, I got distracted. I'm sorry. Matt Bond, where are you at? You did this for me, and I appreciate it. This is what I envisioned in my head. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for posting this on Twitter. Law nerds, y'all the best. We need some Law Squad merch, don't we? We need Law Squad merch, I think, because we are way cooler than the Shaw Squad. Thank you. So I can ask my family to open the door and see if Fred and George pop in here. I can absolutely do that and see if they'll come in. I mean, we're at 8:45, so we're kind of at the end. So let me ask the family if they will do that real quick. So if they open it, the cats might come. If they come wander in, I'll let them do that. They're all eating dinner. So, family, can you open my door so the cats can wander in while I'm on live, please?
Yes.
Thank you, G.
Travis is opening them.
Thank you so much.
Can you say hi?
You can come say hi if you want to.
I'm coming.
Okay. Now the kids want to come say hi. Echo cancel. Hey T. All right. And now we're gonna get kiddos.
Hi.
You can say hi.
Hi.
Hi. What do you think of this picture? I'm showing him the James Charles picture. You like it?
Looks like
The Star Destroyer?
looks like the Star Destroyer comes out of nowhere.
That would be crazy. We should have Star Destroyers come out of nowhere. Are you eating dinner?
I'm going to be here for.
You're going to be here for a little bit? You can go sit in the chair. I'm going to be live for a little bit longer, and then we've got to do court of public opinion. D Sparkles asked, am I still pursuing the hacking? Yes, I am for sure. So that's it. Oh, you don't have to bring them in here.
Here's Fred.
Oh, Fred, here.
I'm entertaining.
It's okay. I've got him.
All this noise is making me want to entertain.
This is Fred.
He's the most adorable
And
thing.
then George is next.
George is over
You don't
there.
have to go grab George. I don't think George wants to come in.
No, George does not like.
George
to be held.
does
He
not
likes to
wanna
be in
come
his
in.
own bubble.
All right.
He's like, they're the Weasley brothers.
They are the Weasley. Did you know that the Weasley brothers' birthday was yesterday? Oh, Fred's ready to get down there with them down. Oh, come on.
And plus, we are going to do free hugs.
Okay, you go eat. I'll be off in a few.
No, I'm going to stay here.
Or do that.
Come on, Griff, let's go eat.
I'm entertaining you.
You're entertaining yourself? All right, I've got to answer questions about taxes.
Taxes, I want to answer some of them. What are the taxes?
Lindsay, have any of the tax returns for Girardi Keys been presented? Not yet. Not yet. The
Bye.
trustee, bye, buddy. The trustee said that it would take her about 6 months to start putting together the financial records for Girardi Keys. And we've seen reports that they were still doing paper accounting. Like, oh my goodness. Question I asked on Super Chat earlier, please. I will try to find it, Laura. I will. So let me see. Statement, her husband is digging a bigger hole. Also, why is everyone apologizing but starting with I'm alone now? I don't know. And with James Charles, I think it was total bullshit because there was somebody walking around and shuffling around in the background. I think they're absolutely trying to make it seem like, hi guys, it's just you and me. You know me. You like me. You don't want to cancel me. But by the end of the thing, also the volume was so low on that apology, but by the end of the damn thing, he's like yelling at his audience. It was awful. I don't know why everybody starts that way. Is there a difference between bond bail and normal bail? No. The security can be lost and then whatever collateral she needs to put up for the bond company. But yes, she can lose it if she does not go to court. Absolutely. Is it possible that the refile for the Toddy versus KJ lawsuit would happen after the investigation is complete? It could wait for that, but they're going to run up against statute of limitations issues in May for some of the statements because they have a limited time to do that. So I think we will see something by May, but not 100% sure. So, Laura, you asked in your super chat, will you be discussing Matt's gets? And is he from Satan's side of the Osmond family? I have No idea what's going on with Matt Getz. I'm sorry, but I will look. Keeping up on this stuff has been wild. So I do not know, but thank you. James Charles' attorney must have lost their minds when they saw the video. I mean, it's not down yet, which is shocking. I don't know how many views it has. Oh, 4 million views. Of course it does. But it's out there now. I can't imagine that he ran that past an attorney. I can't imagine that he did. He should have, but I can't imagine that he did. Question, how would blackmail come into a civil lawsuit? There can be civil charges or civil causes of action for blackmailing people. Like they could bring up the civil cause of action. In some cases, it's coercion, but some states do have civil causes of action for that. Like, hey, I might not go to the police to prosecute this, but this person's trying to hold this against me and I'm going to sue them for it. Does this mean Jeffrey was telling the truth about James Charles too? Like, I don't know. Has Jeffrey said anything about this? It'll be interesting. We're going to talk about apology videos in a minute, and Jeffrey's going to come up into that. Thank you for asking this, Stephanie. What do we know about Coach Shah's involvement? We know that he was not indicted. So the government doesn't feel they can prove that he was substantially connected to this scheme in a way that they could prove it beyond a reasonable doubt. We know that, I mean, I can't imagine he is going to be happy with this. I don't know how much he would have known. Even when she talks about his business or her business, she's like, business. I'm like the Wizard of Oz, blah, 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 blah. I don't know what he knew. I mean, he had to wonder. Gizmo asked, do you think Coach Shah knew what Jen was doing? She has so many businesses. It's like, oh, I'm an entrepreneur and I have this over here and this over here and this over there. He might not have known where all the money was coming from. It's not clear. And I guess we'll see. I'm going to will he file for divorce? Will he not? Allie Foley, thank you. He's a rep from Florida who's being investigated for sex trafficking and other crimes against underage girls. That's dark. I will absolutely look into it. I don't know anything about it, so I cannot speak on it, but I will look, because if he's being investigated, it's interesting. It's interesting when they say this is the investigation versus these are the charges, because Jen Shah, this all came up when she got charged. Sorry, Rihanna asked, is there any legal process which Toddy could request more time pending the FBI investigation, arguing that it's relevant? No, the statute of limitations is finite, but what can happen is when stuff comes out, you can move to amend the complaint based on the new information. But a lot of the stuff will end up being, depending on what's determined, it can end up being more criminal anyway. So we will see. We will see. Question, what if Tati had it right the first time around? Well, if Tati had it right the first time around, it's going to make any statements that she is a lying liar that lies, that has attacked him to, take down his business, untrue statements. So I mean, is Bi Sister the truth? Maybe. I am also sad for the Shah kids. I mean, I am. I'm absolutely sad for the Shah kids. How can he possibly not realize how they could have the lifestyle they had? If I was him, I would split and run. Heather, I totally get that. He was making a couple $100,000 a year. He had apparently had success as an attorney before he started coaching. So he had business ventures too, it sounds like. And the house on the show is rented. And so how much of the lifestyle is for TV and how much of it was the actual lifestyle? I think that's unknown. And that's what we're seeing when we peek behind the curtain with Erica Jane as well. We're seeing this, like, the Aston Martin's leased, and no shade if you lease a car. It's not as if they're plopping down cash for a car and walking out. There's more to these stories and less money than we think. Corey said, I'm so far behind in terms of the live stream. My son, who has big, huge, scary emotions, had a party at school today after getting up way too early this morning. So I paused. Well, I completely understand that. It happens here too. Misopinionated, love. Have you ever thought about teaching law? You have a fun way of explaining what's the difference between state and federal DA. That's a great question. I would think about teaching law. I also don't like being tied down to obligation. I am a guest star. It's part of the reason it took me so long to start a podcast. Like part of it was nerves about my voice, and part of it was like, am I up to doing this every week? Am I really up to doing this every single week? So the obligation part of it's hard. I also don't want to like grade people. I'm happy to guest lecture, which is why when I got asked by my friend to come and talk to her class at University of Memphis, I was like, hell yes. I love coming in to chat. So yes, I would think about it after COVID so I could see people in person. I enjoyed being a TA very much when I was in law school and teaching study sessions for 1Ls when I was a 3L. So I like teaching and breaking stuff down, but legal commentary is my favorite. Like I've gotten to be on podcasts and in clubhouse rooms with like the Bravo faithful this week, and it's been so much fun. Like I'm living my best life getting to do this with you guys. So nothing that's going to step on my ability to do this. Dr. Riley says he makes over $500K a year. So, I mean, they were renting the house. Who knows how much of the lifestyle was bought, but she might have really pushed it off with business. It's fine. And I get a discount because I'm on TV and blah, 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 blah. So we'll see. Oh, I forgot to answer the second part. So there are federal attorney generals, the AUSAs, and they work for the government of the United States. They prosecute federal crimes. Federal crimes deal with interstate commerce, among other things. So they prosecute crimes on the federal level in federal court. At state level, there is a state attorney general that has jurisdiction over particular crimes and particular things, and task forces, deals with cases that have conflicts, sometimes deals with like jurisdictional cases and stuff like that, and civil cases as well at the state attorney general level. And then there are multiple local attorneys depending on where you live. But in California, you have the county DAs, and then you can also have city attorneys. So in Los Angeles, you have the LA County District Attorney's Office that does criminal prosecution for the County of Los Angeles at the felony and misdemeanor level in most areas. Some cities also have a city attorney who handles misdemeanor and civil prosecutions for their local city. And then some areas also have a city attorney that just does civil stuff for the city. So there's a city attorney for the city of Los Angeles that does misdemeanor prosecutions and environmental crimes and fines TikTok houses for having parties during COVID. That's not stuff the DA's office does. So there are lots of jurisdictional breakdowns at the different levels of prosecution. So city attorney in California, you've got city attorneys, district attorneys that handle the counties, and then the attorney general of the state and their office. Kamala Harris was the attorney general of California before she, not the attorney general, the state AG. Yes, that's what I mean. It's getting late. And then they have their AG's office. They deal with appellate work and they deal with task force and stuff like that. Ugh. So there we go. Question, could James have put the video out to help Tati? I think James is trying to save his own career. I don't think James even thought of anyone other than himself, or I don't think James has followed the whole Tati situation. I don't think he realizes how this might impact it. I think he's very focused on himself and not getting canceled. But what if it opens the door for Tati to come back? Wouldn't that be fascinating if we see, oh, it's April, Tati's back on YouTube. Wouldn't that be interesting? I wonder if this becomes the closure needed on all of Dramageddon. Like, is this the pin in it with Dramageddon that James Charles comes back? I'm going to answer just a few more questions, and then we're going to court of public opinion. Ooh, excuse me. Fun fact, Gen Psych does an entire unit on memory and uses criminal stuff as an example. My criminal justice minor came in handy for that class. That's amazing, little kitty cat. My mother is a federal prosecutor. Federal prosecution. Look, federal prosecutors don't play. Elizabeth will tell you, federal prosecutors do not play. They come with their evidence and they have a very, very, very high win rate. So they they don't take cases that they're not want to win or plea. I have a hard time believing that just because she isn't posting doesn't mean she doesn't get, that wasn't for me because I can't. That's conversation. Sorry. Okay. Let's see. Question: could the other houses of Salt Lake be subpoenaed? The other housewives. It depends on if they're relevant. Like, it has to matter and they have to know something. I don't know if they know. They all seemed very confused about where the money was coming from with Jen Shah, for sure. Gizmo 2020, same. I also can't wait to see the episode of Real Housewives of Salt Lake City where the FBI pulled over the van looking for her. And there were cameras at federal court when she came out. I want to see all of it. Can Coach Shah start divorce proceedings to protect assets from falling into community property being forfeited going forward as future earnings? Yes, because, well, it depends on how Utah's divorce works on data separation and when it stops being community assets. But yes, it's possible for sure. Would love for you to host your own crime show on ID Discovery. ID Discovery, I would totally do that. Only if I can talk to Bailey Sarian about true crime. I would also talk to Peter Mon about true crime. It would take me a little time to do true crime. I'm very much enjoying doing pop culture stuff. I answered that. Question: Did you know that James Charles wasn't alone? He said that he was alone, but you can hear noise in the background. I think I addressed that. I had to turn up his video so high because he was trying to be all innocent, you guys, and he just wanted to talk to you like this because he's so innocent and he wants you to believe him. And then he ended up yelling by the end of it. But I had to turn it up because he was just talking so soft. And that's when I heard people bumping around in the background. And I was like, is that the chat last night was like, he does have a dog, but the thumping, I'm like, that's not animal knocking shit over. There's more than that. Question: is there a strong case against James Charles, even if the boys lied about their age? Tea Time Live, that's a great question. The boys lying about their age will be irrelevant to a criminal proceeding because actual age is what mattered. It will matter to an attorney if they choose to bring the case based on that. I actually had a MySpace case like that when I was prosecuting, and there was lots of discussion about, because we had hard evidence that she was actually lying about her age. What weight does that hold in court? It can hold weight. I mean, the law is the law, and it doesn't matter if they lied about their age, but juries don't always like it. So there's a weighing of if it can reasonably be prosecuted. But some of the kids he's talking to very clearly have their age all over their TikToks from what I've seen. So it's just going to depend on what's known, what was available, and if they really did lie about their age, because that seems to be James's default. And I don't know if all of these minors are actually lying about their age, especially after that clip from his Impulsive interview saying, I would find literally the youngest guy I could to date, and saying, a lot of these guys are in high school. The clip from that is on Def Noodle's Twitter. Elizabeth B. Hi, sister. The Tati come back. Question: is it possible for Jen Shah to face RICO charges? RICO being the racketeering and organized crime. If they were going to bring RICO charges, I think they already would have done it. I think that on this scheme, the wire fraud and the money laundering are probably what's easiest and cleanest for them to prove. All right, I'm going to do 2 more questions and then we're going to go to court of public opinion. My throat is actually getting tired. For sure. I know. Totally. I love Bailey too. I would have to make her do my makeup though, because I can't keep up. Like, I need her to teach me how to what do we do with how do we lift the eyes. I don't know. This is what Jen Shah's face looks like after prison. Oh my God, that was so mean, Emily. Stop it. I only say it because she made a prominent feature of her fillers habit on the show. Question, could Jen's behavior violate the contract she has with Bravo and she could be fired? I don't know what those contracts say with regard to stuff like this. Bravo could distance themselves. Bravo could buy her out of her contract and just stop filming with her for the season. I believe they're paid by the number of episodes they appear on, and Bravo could just say, look, we're not slowing down production to turn over all this footage to the AUSAs. We'll do a couple testimonials with you, and that's it. I don't know what Bravo will choose to do. I am not as well versed in how production works as other people may be. I know Bailey and I have DM'd a little bit. I need to reach out and be like, what case are we going to talk about? I also want to have Aphrodite do a tarot reading on the Jen Shah case and do like the legal side of it. So when he's like, I'm not sure what this means. So I could just be like, oh my God, it means this. I want that to happen. I know you're a fan of Deaf Noodles. I'm wondering what you think about the way he libels people, including stuff he made up and added to allegations. So look, me being a fan or not, I don't think I've ever said I'm a fan of Deaf Noodles. I don't agree with or like everything he's done. On Twitter, he provides very good information. He couches, and I've not seen everything the man has ever created. He does couch a lot of his commentary as sarcasm or as parody. Where the boundaries of parody are is something that one always needs to be mindful of. So I appreciate the way he does things on Twitter. I have not watched all of his videos. I do not know him to have libelous statements. If that has happened, I have not seen it. It doesn't mean it didn't happen. It just means that I'm not aware of it. I use content as resources and people as resources. I might not know everything they've ever done, but making up stuff is not helpful. But in the context of satire, if it's clearly satire, then that's not satire. Doesn't fall into the defamation stuff. But I appreciate the question for sure. I will absolutely ask about a Friday Night Live for sure. I said I was doing more questions. Welcome. Thank you, Tea Time Live. Question, was the thumping music from a party? Maybe. It sounded like somebody thumping on this, like thumping around the area. Statement by Sass Elf. The most recent boy on TikTok had to stop commenting because the local police had contacted his parents. Well, somebody's been watching and maybe that will pop off. I wonder how much when stuff like that happens, if there's like some Emily's monuments to the gods of speculation, there's some teen, tween, 20-year-old watching this drama go down whose mom or dad is a police officer. And they're like, yo, this kid might live local. Look at what's going on. Can you please look into this? Like, they're tipped off to that somehow. They're not just scrolling the TikToks. All right. I know I need to catch up on the LuLaRoe lawsuits, Lindsay. I have early coverage of that, and I have not circled back at all. Somebody asked who has questions over who has jurisdiction over the James Charles case. That's a great suggestion. Who has jurisdiction over the James? So it could be federal if the kids live in other states. It could be Los Angeles because he lives in Los Angeles County. And it could be the location where the other people live. It could be all of those things. All right, you guys. We have been talking for 2 hours. It is Easter weekend. It is time. Andy Cohen needs to hire you for his SiriusXM channel weekly, not daily. Have you ever met Jeff Lewis? I have not ever met Jeff Lewis. SLC cost of living is cheaper than most cities. Bravo and court cases are married. I mean, they are now. It's going to be a requisite that there's got to be one housewife that gets arrested in every franchise. I I mean, Luann took the bullet on New York. She got arrested during season. You've got Teresa in Jersey. Has anybody gotten in legal trouble in OC? Oh yeah, there's been court cases underlying OC, but not like criminal legal trouble. And that ended up being a big plot line. So, I would always happily talk to Andy Cohen. So could Coach have flipped on Jen so he wasn't charged? Unlikely, because he has spousal privilege. And why would you put your kids through that? I think the defendants that pled in the underlying case, there's 2 that pled. I think they're the ones who helped button up the case as to Jen Shah. It is time to get to court of public opinion. Here's the thing. We're doing a little bit of a different court of public opinion this evening. So let's get into it. All right, you guys, you're going to tell me in the chat which way you want to frame this question tonight. The live chat gets to pick. It's like dealer's choice here. Look, we're almost at the end of the night. There's over 2,000 of you guys on. I love you all so much. If you are not subscribed, I'm ready for purple hair. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button. You can also follow me all over the social medias. I will be there. Okay. We're talking apology videos, and this was in the chat, and the mods brought it to my attention that this was asked, and I said, this is absolutely brilliant. Jake's Baby Cakes, can you let us know in the chat whose idea this was so I can give them proper credit, because I would appreciate it, and you put it in the mod chat for me, and I so appreciate that. Now, we're going to talk about apology videos. Do we want to talk about, and I know which apology videos we're talking about, but chat, do you want to talk about the best apology video or the worst apology video? How do you want to phrase the question? 1 for best, 2 for worst, so I can see it for sure. 1, let's ask who the best apology video is. 2, let's ask who the worst apology video is. Let me know in the chat. We'll frame the question and I'll give you the videos to pick from. Those will go up a poll on the community tab and on the Twitters. This looks, that's a lot of 2s. Worst, best, worst. All right, we're voting on the worst. Thank you, Stacy. I love Friday night too. Friday night is so much fun for me. Oh, worst videos is winning. Okay, worst videos. Here's our choices. Kelly Chambers, the shade of it all. I didn't have Laura Lee on the list. Do we need to put Laura Lee on the list? Here's who I have on the list. If we need to modify the list, I can only have 4. I can only have 4 on the list, but I don't have any ladies. So maybe Laura, maybe we do 2 polls. Maybe we do the guys and then we do the ladies. But I feel bad separating people by gender, so maybe not. Here's who I have on the list. Shane Dawson, Jeffree Star, the Gold Couch video, David Dobrik, number 2, and James Charles, not No More Lies, but James Charles, what is this most recent one fucking called? Taking Accountability? Those are the 4 that I have, because I can only do 4 options. So do we need to put Laura Lee? Oh, Jacqueline too. Damn it. Who do we remove? Because I can only do 4 options. We have to have Laura Lee, but we have to have Shane, and we have to have Daybreak. Okay, we get rid of James. We get rid of Jeffree Star. We get rid of Jeffree Star. Okay, we get rid of Jeffree Star, and do we add Laura Lee or do we add Jacqueline Hill? Beauty people versus other people. It's hard because these are all beauty people. It feels like they're all D, all of the above. Male and female in 2 categories. All right, we can do 2 separate polls. So let's do Jeffree Star, and then we'll do Laura Lee. We'll do Tana Mojo. Why are there so many? We'll do Jaclyn Hill. And I'll just put up 2 polls. We'll do 2 courts of public opinion, one for each. So Laura, Jaclyn, Tana, who else had a terrible apology? Oh, Mika Stauffer. That's fantastic. Mika for sure. And then we'll do a runoff on Tuesday. Trisha's had too many. Trisha's had way too many. Which Trisha apology would we pit on this? Which one? Mika's a good one. Oh, Gabby Hanna's a good one too. Gabby Hanna is a good one too. We should do it. You guys are right. We should absolutely do it like March Madness. We should do a bracket of apology videos. Oh, Tati, you're right. We need to have Tati because Breaking My Silence is an apology video, isn't it? All right, Tati. Tati, Breaking My Silence. I think that's fair. Laura Lee, Tana Mojo's most recent one, Jaclyn Hill's most recent one, Tati Westbrook, Breaking My Silence, David Dobrik, Tool. All right, those are it. We've got 2 polls going. You don't have to watch them. You don't have to watch all of them. We'll do 2. I haven't watched the Stauffer one because it's just, it's so bad. Oh, Gabby's Manage Your Expectations. I know Gabby's had some bad ones too. Damn it. We are getting like a March Madness style bracket of apology videos. Beauty guru versus regular YouTubers. These are mostly, these are a lot of beauty. Beauty gets itself into a lot of problems. Oh, Logan Paul too. Oh, all right. I'm taking a list. Maybe we'll do it in a bracketed format. This is going to be a week-long court of public opinion. Okay. We also need Logan Paul. Who else do we need? Mika Stauffer. Manny MUA. Oh, you guys are so good. All right, we're doing brackets. Fuck it. We're doing it. Oh, Dr. Mike. Dr. Mike for sure has to be on there. And I'm not putting KJ on the poll. These YouTubers are too big. Who else has apologized? We've got Manny for sure. Oh, Jenna Marbles. That's true. But we're doing who's the worst. So Jenna Marbles is going to get bounced out. I've seen most of these. Which apology video from RHOSLC? Oh, Gabby Martinez's was terrible. Thank you. Passenger shaming. We have Laura Lee. Gabby D. Martinez. Did Charlie or Dixie D'Amelio apologize for the dinner thing? Did either of them apologize? Oh, PewDiePie. Let's see. Nikita. Does Nikita apologize? Sass Elf is like, Nikita. Does Nikita apologize about anything? I tuned into H3 After Dark today. Just in time, I was watching them cover the Charles apology a little bit, just in time to hear him refer to Nikita Dragon as Nokia Dragon. I don't know. She never apologizes for anything. It's fair. I put Mika Stauffer on here if we're gonna do a bracket, and Ellen DeGeneres. That's fantastic. Oh, did Gabrielle Zamora ever apologize for anything? Ellen's going on here. I have Tana on here. We do need a whole tournament. I'm going to make a bracket. She did make an apology video, so I feel like we could put her in here for an apology video. It's fine. For sure. Can we get links to the videos? Oh my God, that would be a lot of work. Well, I'll see. Nikado Avocado. Smokey had an awesome apology. Did Smokey Glow apologize for something? I mean, we're doing bad apology videos, so I'm not going to put a good one up with the bad ones. It'll just get bounced right out. I don't even know who Sam and Nia are. We will add Nikado Avocado. And I will thank you, JC, for your suggestion. This is going to be a very interesting bracket. I will bracket them. I'm going to reach out to Peter Mon and ask him if he has any that he wants on the list too, because there's a lot of them. Who else? Let's see. Hair by Jay didn't really apologize for anything at all. We could absolutely put up the different apology videos. We could put up like James Charles No More Lies versus James Charles taking accountability. We could put up some of the different Jeffrey ones against each other for sure. Worst apology video bracket. That's exactly what we're doing. So I have PewDiePie on the list. I'm definitely going to reach out to Peter and ask. I will get this. Oh, Jeff Wittick for sure. Oh, and didn't Dirty Dom apologize too? But Jeff Wittick took it down. I don't know if I'll put it on there because he take it down, but Dirty Dom didn't take it down. And after Jeff Wittick kind of put up his other one, I felt bad. I felt bad for sure. So I don't know about Jeff Wittick. I'll have to think. Scotty Sires was absolute fucking crap. Let's do that. Screw you, Scotty Sires. No, Scotty's was bad. You guys, that's a lot. We got Logan Paul for sure. College admission scandal chick. What is her name? She apologized. Her apology was also not good. It was better than a lot of these. Yes. Lori Loughlin's daughter. What is her name? Let me know. And we've got more than one Shane Dawson to do, for sure. Olivia Jade, thank you. She needs to go in there too. All right, we're gonna release a bracket, and then we'll start polling them for sure. This is a lot, you guys. I hope that we have enough. I think we have enough to make a reasonable bracket. Let me count how many we've got, because I think we have at least a sweet 16. Ace, I've never seen Ace Family apologize. I'll have to put it on here and I'll look. Yeah, Trisha would get her own bracket, wouldn't she? I'll pick one of the Trisha videos to add to here because it has to be on here because Trisha has some bad ones. So you guys are like, the Ace Family doesn't deserve attention. It's fair. Ryland has an apology on his podcast. That's very, very interesting. I forgot it. We have released the Kraken. We absolutely have. You guys, it's a lot of stuff. I think we have enough. Okay, let me count these up. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. We've got 22 apologies. 22 apologies. And that's not even giving the YouTubers that have apologized multiple times, multiple apologies, and that's not even having Trisha on it. We'll have to pick one. I'm going to ask Peter. We're going to make a bracket, and then we're going to wait, where there was a comment that made me die. Where did it go? Oh, it just jumped. Hold on. I'm going to find this comment because everything just jumped. Release the gray hoodies in tears. Yes. I feel like somebody needs to make merch of like YouTuber apology kit with like a gray hoodie and it's like a shoot list for all the different jump cuts that you need and the like taking accountability for it. And then I'll have to figure out how to pull it. We're going to have to do shorter polls, but we will go to I think I will give a list. Okay, we're going to take up the rest of March with this. We're not going to have other courts of public opinions. I will get a bracket together. I will put these in and let everybody fill out their own bracket. And then once everybody fills out their own bracket, we will start having everybody vote on them. And then we'll see where people's brackets go through. So you guys can fill out your own brackets like March Madness, and then we'll see whose team lasts. Or do you want me to just fill out one bracket and then we all vote? Oh my God, it's April. Fucking hell. That's right, it is April. Damn it. So I feel like you guys should all get to fill out your own brackets. We're going to give you the list of apology videos. You fill up your own brackets and then we run them down and see who wins with getting one person to the end. I think we should do that. Google form brackets. Yep. I'm going to put up the list. Y'all are going to bracket it. And I'll fill out my bracket too. And then we'll go from there. But the thing that's hard is that, we don't have rankings, but you guys are going to have to rank them yourself. You're ranking yourself. Viewers Voice Hoodies has the hoodies. That's fantastic. I'm going to have to check that out. One bracket, we all vote. All right. One bracket, we all vote can work. I'll let you guys play along at home if you want, because you can, and we're going to have to figure it out. We're going to have to bracket this. All right. You guys, the poll will go up on Monday because I am going to start it on Monday. It's Easter weekend. We're going to do that. I'm going to put it on Twitter who we're ranking, and then we're going to go from there. Hit me up to help with the merch. Matt Bond, I appreciate it. My kids died laughing with this. We are going to have Peter play along if he wants to, for sure, because I'm sure there's a video that he can help with, and we will for April apologies. I love it. April apologies. We're going to bracket it. I'll set the regions. You guys can fill it in. We're going to do it. I will put it on Twitter. I will send it around on Monday. I know I will make the number divisible by 4. I'm going to go through and put it together. You guys, this is going to be a lot. This is going to be a lot. It's going to be good. I'll ask Peter if he wants to come on and be a guest when we break down the brackets and talk about it. Oh my God, you guys, it's been 2.5 hours. I have to go. Merch, this is my apology hoodie. We should do this is my apology hoodie. I see Rich Lux. I will put his name on there. April Fools is a good one. April apology tour. I like that too. You guys, it is time. It is time. April apology apocalypse. You guys are great. We will get the brackets together, and I will put everything that goes up on both Twitter and the community tab here on YouTube. So anything that happens will happen in both. And we will do this. I would genuinely buy a hoodie that says "This is my apology" hoodie. Oh, you guys are the best. If you're celebrating Easter, have a wonderful Easter. If you celebrated Passover, I hope you had a great Passover. Let's just need Steve Kronak. I don't know who Steve is. I'm making the list. I will look. And I will touch base, and I will put this all up. Bart, you guys have great ideas. I appreciate you. Aprilologies. So good. It's so good. You guys have a great weekend. You can follow along with me and my family all over the interwebs. I'm at the Emily D. Baker. I will be sharing all of the various podcasts and other appearances that I've been on. I have talked to a lot of people this week, and I will share all those for you to watch if you would like to. And what else? Go ahead and subscribe to the channel if you're not. Go ahead and like this video on your way out. Go ahead and have yourself an amazing weekend. And I will see you back here on Tuesday. We're not going to have a resolution to court of public opinion, but I'm sure there will be more legal shit to talk about. So I will see you back here on the YouTubes on Tuesday. Thank you for being a law nerd. I appreciate you for being part of my squad, and I'll see you next time. Connect with me everywhere. I'm at the Emily D. Baker. If you guys want to join the text, just text Emily.com. If you want to join the channel, lawnerdsunite.com. Happy to have you. Support what we do here on the YouTube.